Yo, 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 what is going on, COD Familia? It is your boy BN, aka Mr. Kingdom Builder, and today we are here in SB1-24. Now, this group, this is S2 Plus, to be clear, and this is 249 through 256 that we have. We're currently watching, we have EE, exclamation point EE, colon G, or just the EE fam, and they're going up against, at least on the west side is OP colon W versus and meat, right? So it's the OP, so it's OPW, we'll just say, and meat going up against the two EE alliances here on the western side. So we're in zone 3 right now of Dulenn on the S2 Plus map. And for those of you that, again, may not be too familiar with how that map looks, I'll show it to you real quick. All right, so we have more Brez on S2 Plus, and then we have Dulenn, which is the Zone 3s, right? These are really for S2 Plus, kind of where the majority of the fighting starts, which is Zone 3, and then in Zone 4. And you can see right now there's two battlefronts, right? So there's this one right there at the bridge where the Spire is, and there's another one going on over here, which is between RY. So we have the two OP alliances, there's OPZ, and I think there's OPH. I have to remember the other one. It is H. Gosh, my memory is still intact. And then it's RY colon, and then you have RYU. So it's RY, RYU, and then a little bit of EE as well. And you can see kind of what's happening here with a little bit of that pushing, right? OPZ building a flag right now. Got 8 minutes left on that, right? They're still playing it out here with RY and RYU in the middle. And they are just getting a little bit of back and forth currently. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Well, we're gonna hang out here, let you guys watch the action for a sec while I go drop off the baby. I'll BRB. Okay, we are back. The little baby is asleep. Hopefully some good fighting was still going on, and we are ready to enjoy ourselves, if you know what I mean. Platonically, of course. Okay, with that in mind, RYU, RY, making a push here now in OPZ. Interesting here with OPZ's positioning as far as, again, looks like they're not pulling back any builders right now, kind of fighting on the right side. You know, typically when we often talk about, you know, some of the fighting situations and, again, kind of having good structure, right, usually you don't want to kind of be parallel with your flag. You really kind of want to be in front, right? So the idea here being that, you know, they would almost either want to set up a line, or if it's something like this, right, even if it's a slight curve, just so they have opportunities to hit all the way through, right? That's kind of what we'd like to see ideally. But, I mean, RY actually has some decent, and EE isn't over here yet, so they're not fighting right now. Wow, geez, that looks like infantry march right there, if that was Madeline Gar or another. Couldn't exactly see the secondary but was just eating a lot. Ooh, is that Goresh Skogul that we got Judge Rock? And I wonder who some of the top players are here too as well. Let's take a look. See, look at this. I'm running. I just want to point this out, right? I'm running very high graphics right now, and just the fact that there's not like millions of troops on the field, you can see, right? With I'm running 60 frames, high. I'm on high. I'm not on very high. I'm on high. So I think it's like 1.2 or 1.4 on the render quality, right? I could show you guys that what we're running right now. Yeah, so 1.2 I'm running high right now at 60 frames with VC and COD, and you can see that as long as there's not hundreds of units on the field, right? This plays incredibly smooth. Right, compared to when we were watching the TFS, EXG, BXS, EIS fights, right, the ones where there's hundreds of marches or legions that are out there in the field, right? So the capability is my point is the capability is there for us to have a decent time, or at least a decent viewing experience, we should say. So RY, okay. I mean, so OP, I mean, bunching a little bit here. We're seeing a lot of Lilias. We see we got some Velns here, so a lot of mages. I got a wall deer that we see running there. Looks like this player over here looked like they were running an infantry with Madeline. Let's see on this side. Lots of Lilias. We got some Vels. We got a Hosk. Maybe that's Hosk Kanara. We got a Kanara over here. Maybe that's Kanara Hosk. Looks like we have a Frager. That could be Frager Sindrian. Thea. Looks like it could be Thea Atheist, it looks like, for some of those comps. Atheist there. Could be Atheist Thea. Yeah, looks like it is, at least from what that looks like. Unless that's Atheist Frager, possibly. Okay, we got the Kanara. Looks like we're at the Snow Peak. Oh, so that's Kanara Nico. They're interesting. Okay, got a Waldeer. Oh, that's Waldeer Valen over there. Okay. So now we're just fighting. Now, the spread here from RY actually is not bad. I mean, a little clumping here and a little clumping here. I really would like to see them kind of widening the gap even more, right? Where, again, utilize this area. You have all this over here that you can utilize. You have all this up here that you can utilize. Again, your arc, as we often talk about, right, really should be looking something like this. Like, you should almost be like this on them, right? Spread out, take so much less AoE damage, and then you can inflict that much more AoE damage, right? Because, I mean, they're basically kind of pushing out from this Spire choke, right, that they're going. What do we have over here? Oh, wow, so look at this, dude. So RY is trying to get this fort down as well. They got an hour and 18 minutes on that, and it looks like RY's there. I think RYU is pushing over here too as well. I don't know how much assistance they're really able to give in that moment. Oh wow, so look, RYU trying to put this down. OPZ flying. Oh, I see. Maybe they were trying to do that so they could put some cities on the ridge. Okay, if that's the case, man, nice heads up play there. So RYU building. I don't know how they're going to get up this ramp though, unless I mean, again, they'd have to make a little room. Possibly. Oh, I see. So RY might end up just... Maybe RY will remove some flags or something like that, right? So that RYU can get up. Maybe that is what will happen. But you can kind of see from the landscape here on what's happening at the moment, right? With, again, we got the fort. We got a flag going down as well, right? So it's funny because you got OPZ who's pushing. They're building a flag. And then at the same time... It is interesting why they're like... I guess I'm curious on why they're not trying to like focus both, because there's no one really defending over here, so you could go ahead and pick off some of those builders, even if you just sent a small force. So I don't know why we're not trying to make that happen, potentially, especially when you have some inactives over here, too, as well. That are, I mean, look at this, dude. Look at how many inactives you have, or those that are just not moving, that have troops in the field, right? You could be doing, I mean, you could maybe have 20, 25 more legions actively fighting right now for OPZ. That's a little unfortunate because that could be the secondary force that you need just to send that over here and start crushing these builders. Okay, let's go look at the bridge fight. I just want to go back here to the bridge fight. I want to see what's kind of progressing over here because this was looking like it was getting pretty intense. Oh, look, so before, remember, they were fighting on the bridge. So EE caps the Spire. Now they just started this. Okay. Interesting. We're probably going to see something happen here then soon with OPW meet. Okay. Oh, maybe this is it. Maybe this is the beginning. Let's zoom out a little bit. I just want to see where we're at. So EEG, they're still catching up. Okay, so they got a flag they're building. Ooh, are they getting pressured? Okay. Oh, I see. So OPW just put a city over here on territory. Okay. So nothing really major right there. What is me doing? Are they trying to work their way up here? Okay, they are. So we got 37 minutes on that tower, probably 1, 2, and then they're over here. Okay, yes. I mean, they have a minute to go right now. I mean, I think what I would almost try to do if I was OPW is I would almost try to start placing more flags too. I don't know if they're trying. Oh, actually, I'm sorry. I think they are building one though. Yeah, they are. But I would almost say, like, I would almost advise them double building. Like, I would build here, maybe build here as well, or even build here, just so you can get. Remember, one of the biggest and most important parts of being able to sustain a large and long fighting war is you have to have, in part, especially if you want to create advantages at certain areas on the map, whether it be choke points or others or open field, you need to try and have the fastest refresh times as possible. So if you know you're going to be banging against a wall or potentially against defensive points like chokes, it's almost more important once you get there to try and start building flags where you're kind of layering, whether it's 2, 3 layers, right? Especially because in this case, OPW actually has some breathing room where they can layer maybe 2, 3, or even 2 from the forward flag and then backwards, right? So the example, and I'll give you an example because it looks like they're about to go at it, but I'll give you an example of what I'm talking about. So they're trying to build another flag here, right? What they could do is build a flag here, right? And then maybe potentially build like another flag here, right? As an example, because you want meat to be able to basically try to beeline all the way here, right? But by doing this as OPW in yellow, you're now allowing for all those cities, all those player cities that are all the way back here to now be up here, right? So refresh times are a lot faster. That's something that really, in my opinion, is going to be. Oh wow! So they were able to actually push them off of that. Shocker. Yeah, no, that was nice there. So EE backs off. But like I'm saying, right, that's one of the things that, to me, I feel like is an advanced tactic that we've been seeing a little bit of, but we haven't been seeing too much of when it comes to like the top alliances, especially those that are in the T1 season currently, and those that usually and kind of somewhat at the moment, at least regularly, make the top 25 strongest alliance list that I put out every month, usually within about the first 2 weeks of the month. And so even though we are seeing it a little bit more, and I'm happy that that's happening, my hope is that we will see it more often, right, than the rate and amount that we're currently seeing it at, because that really, I think, is going to be such a big determining factor, especially if you're trying to overwhelm at a particular choke. Sure, it is going to cost you more resources, and you might be slower building, but if you're saving, if you're smart with your territory planning, right, you will also understand that at times it's going to be needed, because whoever is going to be, you have to think of it like this, who's ever going to be able to refresh troops the fastest, in a large extent of this, you will be able to have more troops consistently at the front of the field versus your opponents, meaning you will end up having ratio advantages, right? You'll have numbers advantages, which can favor your ratio trades that you're getting in the field, because basically you're now dealing more AoE damage than your opponents are. You're able to 20v10, 35 versus 25, right, etc. You're kind of getting the point. And so these are things that are incredibly important. And if you have more troops at the front of the field versus your opponents on the refresh rates, it also can reduce the overall amount of sevs that you take, or severely woundeds that you take as well, because you're always having larger number advantages, right? And because of that, you're dealing more overall DPS versus your opponents, right? Especially if you're more even, right? I mean, obviously we're talking in somewhat of ideal situations. But again, this is something, like I said, I'll be excited when I see a lot more of that happening. And like I said, I'm okay with kind of the rate where it's at right now. Again, the game is still pretty young. You know, we really haven't seen. I think as time goes on, right, we're going to end up having more alliances that are going to end up obviously getting stronger, but more importantly, more alliances that are going to end up kind of meeting certain thresholds, where you're going to see a lot more alliances with just more T4, more quality T4, more T5 units, just because the players themselves have been playing longer. Right, and as time goes on, they'll have more units as well. or more troops, we should say, right? So fighting, if you're looking at like the average rate of fighting that's happening right now in final zones for KvKs, right? It's probably like 2 to 3 days on average, is where it is. As far as like, once the gates open, that's typically what we've been seeing. And in a year from now, maybe it'll last up to a week, right? Maybe it'll double that. We'll kind of have to monitor and see how that goes. But it's one of the things I very much like paying attention to. Okay, so rally's coming in right now, which is Kanara, Nico. So it's Archer rally. So are they going to avoid the rally, or are they going to hit the rally? Because one of the things that we often saw, right, when we were doing that TFS comms listen-in, is they were very adamant about leaving the rally. Like not targeting it, not hitting it, just at all. Right? They basically just wanted it to go past. And there was moments where there was like some fantastic coordination from TFS where they almost kind of like parted the Red Sea, right? And then they let the rally go through and then they closed the gap up, right? I think there was 1 or 2 moments that we saw like that. And that was pretty dope to see. It looks like right now they're kind of like trying to block the rally right now, or at least, I guess, am I blind? Oh, here it is. Yeah, so never mind. So someone's hitting it now. Where you see, Banana Fish looks like the rally lead, looks like Hiwaga ended up hitting it. And this is the thing, right? Sometimes it's okay just to like let the rally go, without hitting it, so to speak. I mean, maybe hitting the Archer rally is okay. So there you go. See, so look, they split. So this is actually not bad, right? So, I mean, again, this could have been better, where if everyone was really focusing this, because look, they're all bunched up, right? So you're just taking so much AoE damage the moment that the rally splits, especially if you're not able to move around. And maybe some of the positioning here actually blocked a number of those EE players, so they couldn't really move. And you saw there was maybe about 15 legions, give or take, that were just automatically focusing down that spot, which, again, was well done. I would have liked to seen maybe more, right? There was a number of people over here that also could have got in on that action, but didn't. But that was decent, right? That wasn't bad. I mean, they basically waited for the break to happen, and then you had a number of units that were just ready to start attacking, which they did the moment that the rally broke. So, again, like I said, I thought that was decently done. Right, and again, we have some decent spread here, right? Kind of filling in some of the gaps. Oh, dude, here we go. So towers down. Now we're going to see what's going to crack, right? So what's going to happen here? Towers down. I think they can now make a play for the Spire. So are they going to try and place another tower? Oh, look at that, dude. So people are already TPing. So that's the thing, right? I think in this situation, what you do is you move everyone, like you clear off all the Darklings, you move everyone away from here, and maybe you push them up north. Let the cities start filling in appropriately. So with this kind of positioning, I wouldn't have positioned here, right? Again, remember, when you're positioning cities on territory, you want to always position as far away, as far to the edge as you can, right? As far as that's centered with your city. So the middle of HCMC's city should be exactly on the line, or at least as far as you can go over. I also wouldn't have positioned it here. I would have positioned it at the edge. And the reason why is because if you do a rally on this fort, because the fort is probably blocking some of this territory potentially, so you could have actually fit him here and then someone here where he is, but he could have scooted over a little bit more. And that could be why you don't see HCMC scooting over that much more. So this is almost like kind of taking up 2 spots for one spot, right? So I don't think this is like that well done. This actually could have been a lot better. And again, that's something that people need to pay attention to, because you're always trying to maximize out your territory to get as many cities on territory as possible. So that way you can, again, have more troops, you have overall faster refresh times, and you're able just to get those people into the fight that much faster. So we'll see what happens there. I mean, I think OP actually is decent. I mean, they have a lot more, but like I said, it just feels like maybe some missed opportunities right now to try and push some of those people that are farthest back on up. Or those people that are a little bit closer on up. So we'll see. It looks like you have a few more cities that are coming in. Let's go back and see some of this action over here. Ooh, wow. Are they finally hitting the fort? Oh, they are. Dude, they're hitting the fort like I recommended. Or like we were saying earlier, right? Which is like, why are they not pushing? Unless they were waiting for the city to finish. And again, that could have, I think they're upgrading this now. Yeah, okay. No, this is good, man. So they're coming over here, and they're just banging right now against the Alliance Fort and just going after the builders. And there's not really any resistance that's coming out right now from RY. If not, maybe it's just slow to react, or OP. Oh, so never mind. So they're just kind of keeping them at bay. They probably pushed a little deep, or maybe they kind of did a two-prong where they said, okay, look, let's attack the fort and then also send some units down just so we can buy ourselves some time. But yeah, this is the thing, man. All these people that are getting wrecked right now, dude, when you're in a war zone, do not just send units up to the fort. I don't care how safe you feel like you are. That is the number one mistake that any player can make when you are in the war zone. If you're going to go out and send units building, you need to be online. Or you need to be online 24/7, or you need to be online to the point of where you are frequently checking your online status and how things are going, right? Or you're paying attention to pings, right? Where, like, let's say if you're getting pushed, hopefully your leadership or your management team is issuing out a Discord ping, or they're issuing it out and all members ping in game, and you are able to get those notifications, and then you can come on real quick and retreat those units. But again, that to me is really more of a backup. I think the most important thing is that you have to just be online and paying attention. That's number one, without a doubt in my mind. Okay, so now OPZ pushing here a little bit more on RY. Let's see, they got a few more units down here. Looks like it's just RY dash right now. I don't see, or just RY. I don't see RYU. Unless maybe I'm missing some people. Look at this. Even OPH is coming in the mix to assist OPZ. And yeah, I mean, man, listen, they got good activity right now. I mean, this isn't like a horde of people, but again, this is good activity, at least when you're comparing to your opponents. So they push them off. So the funny thing is they could actually, I think they actually can go ahead and start removing that. I wonder if they're going to try and remove some territory here, I think, which would be this flag that they'd be trying to aim for. We'll see, because again, they can reach both. They can reach the flag and they can do the fort. Personally, I actually think it might be a good idea to potentially go for the fort here, but I'd say before the flag, just because the flag is in the middle of cities, and I like how there's a little bit more open space up here that you can operate in, and you know, there's not really any turrets at this point, probably because they're just connecting. So really, you know, it's kind of a free-for-all brawl, if you will, right now. This guy's like, I need 20 people to build my house. That's so funny. Man, that is just too much. This is fun though, man. This is pretty cool. Hopefully the sound isn't that bad. I'm trying to have I want the graphics to be up, but you guys know me, man. I just don't want the sound effects to be too overbearing and too loud. But hopefully this is okay. I feel like around that kind of 11, 12 decibel or negative range looks like what we've been usually rocking with. So hopefully it's not too impacting on that front. So OPZ now, after finishing up the builders, looks like RY having a little skirmish engagement here, a little bit of defensive play. We see the Madeleines there up front. See, that's the thing, man. You don't really want to. Well, I don't even know, because there's some RY. Oh, here we go. So now we see some more RYUs. We see some RY. And yeah, that's a lot, man. Wow, what are they running? So it looks like they're running a bunch of Madeleine Garwoods. We got Stripe Bear that they're running there too as well. On those, getting the surround cheese, man. The infantry just moves so fast nowadays, which is, I mean, it's cool. It's cool to see. Right, there's the charge coming in. Jeez. Got some more RYU coming up over here. OPZ, what are they doing on this side? So they're upgrading right now. They got 14.5 minutes on that. Doesn't look like they're pushing at the moment. Another. Yeah, see, they're, I guess maybe what they're, and again, I guess this is okay too as well, right? If you're just, I mean, they're going deep. They're going a little deep right now in territory, man. This is pretty awesome to see. Listen, man, I always will applaud anyone who takes a large force and goes deep in their enemy's territory, especially if they're able to last for a while, right? Not just you go deep in the territory and you're getting like wrecked really fast, but you're going deep in territory and you're kind of pushing in an organized way where you're really kind of hunting. You're very self-aware of what's happening. You're reacting really fast, and you know you're getting the best trades that you can get from pushing deep in territory, knowing that again you're probably not going to last forever, right? At least the likelihood on average, but you're able to sustain for as long as possible. You know, that to me is always pretty fun and exciting to see. Yeah, I mean they're about 2 flags in right now, and yeah, see now you're getting some people are getting hit on the backside here. We need to look at some powers. I don't think we looked at this yet. So let's look at some alliance powers real quick. So remember, we know that it's OP. OPZ, OPW, and they're going up against EE and RY. So it's OPZ, OPW, meet. They're going up against EE, RY, and RYU, and then EEG, right? So it looks like the top 8 here right now. So we have EE, right? So remember, it's EE, RY. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, and then it's OPZ, OPW, OPH, and meet, right? So it's basically a 4v4, right? It's 1 and 2. They're on the opposite side, so it's 1, 2, 3. RY's with EE. Okay, so this actually isn't bad. This is actually a pretty nice split. This is a 2-2 split here, but it's 1 and 3 and 2 and 4, and then meet coming in at number 5 again. I mean, he's with OP though, right? And then it's RY, so then it's 5, 6, and then 7, 8. So, I mean, and obviously with some of the number differences here, I mean, I think when you look at this, you would almost say it almost is kind of favored a bit in OP and meet's favor, because EE and RY, even though they're very close, right? You could argue some of the drop off here at 7 and 8, right? Because now you're kind of getting to a build difference, a build 2, a build 3 difference. You could say it's a little bit in favor. I'm curious on merits. How are we doing right now? So we got OPZ, RY, and then we got, okay, so they're close. EE 150, OPW, okay, so close. Okay, and you can kind of see like who's doing most of the fighting, which again, OPZ, OPW. And then you have RYEE, OPH meet. I mean, again, and even look. I mean, even RYU's putting in good numbers. EG a little bit lower. Right. Let's look at how about we look? Oh, they don't have. Let's look at power though, real quick. So you got 1 person over 200, but again, they've been fighting for a bit, so you know some of these numbers could be a little bit lower. Got 4 people over 100 mil, 6 over 90. Right. If we go 50 mil, how many people are like T5? Right. So you got about 134. Give or take, T5s. Personal merits. Oh, that was the guy we were watching with the Goresh Skogel March that was running a little earlier in the video. So 1 person over 10 mil merits, 3 over 7, 8 over 6. We got 15 over 5 mil, 26 over 4 mil. Not bad. Let's look at their 200. What does the 200 look like? Okay, so I mean they got they got over 200 people that are at a mil merits or more. I mean that's not bad, especially for Zone 4 just opening. Wow. So now OPZ destroying the tower, and are they hitting the? Oh wow! And they're probably going to start hitting the fort here in a little bit. Wow. Okay, so they're trying to take 2 away. Oh, dude, and they're going for the aggressive build. The balls on OPZ, bro. The cojones on them. So they're upgrading, they're doing a forward build, they're destroying the flag and trying to work on the fort simultaneously. Dude, just absolutely nutter butters, man. And then we got OPH that's coming through. They got 18 minutes on that flag. 1 more flag puts them close to the choke. So they're probably 2-3 flags away from like really, really getting in the action. Okay, let's go see what's going on here. Oh my gosh, dude. So OPW, we missed it. OPW pushes out. EE running a Hosk rally counter. So they're pushing. I don't think they're building anything extra. Meat's coming in to help. So they push them. They push the bridge. They get them on their side of the bridge. Now they're going after the Spire. They're at almost negative 20 per sex on it right now. So they probably just got on it. Rate right now, if it's 20 a second, oh gosh, I can't even do math, but based on this time, maybe they got 20 minutes if they can keep this pace, or is that 20, 30 minutes? So basically they got to hold right now, which again, there's not a lot of EE. I mean, look, they have some over here, but they're just kind of like inactive. They're just like standing around right now. I mean, there's at least 10 legions, or maybe 8 or 10 legions we just saw. They're just kind of hanging around. But listen, dude, OPW and me came to play, right? They got good activity right now from what we can see. Even sending in some flyers. I like this play, man. I like how we're seeing some flyers on the flank, even if it's just trying to pick off some stragglers. I like that we're just kind of broadening some of the tactics. It's not bad. But I'd like for this line to be a little bit more formed. It's kind of slightly-ish, right? A little bit of a ball here. I mean, again, they're not... I mean, they're building right here, right? So it's not as though... And let's see where they're at, right? Oh, so they just finished. So EEG just finished. I think they're waiting for the next flag placement. That next flag placement will probably help them too as well. A bit there on that front. But man, yeah, OPW and me just having really good activity right now. Yeah, so we're going to see. Who was the number one guy again? I wasn't sure if I missed that. So, okay, so it's RYU. So RY, so it's RYOP, RYOP, RY, EOP, ZOPZ. Okay, so it's kind of even-ish, right? As you kind of get to, oh, I see. Then it's, yeah, so like top 15, top 14, it's kind of even-ish. And then it looks like, I mean, we have to really go through the top 200, but it looked like it was starting to break away a little bit there. Yeah, so I mean, I think like in this case, man, for them, you know, they probably could almost get away with something like this, right? If you want to kind of form your line in that way. Because then you can kind of hit, and you see fit, you can have these people help, you can have that help, this help. I mean, just kind of think about making X's, right? You're able to kind of hit wherever you need to in that regard, and that can really help out a lot too as well. But just kind of spreading, right? Like you don't want to see like large clumps like this, large clumps like that. You don't really want to see that, right? You want to spread those out as much as possible. And that's because, again, and this is something that we've been consistently seeing. It's funny. You know what's funny to me too as well is I still remember, I'll give you guys a little history here. I still remember when we would be back in like season 1+. I would be, and maybe even season 1, I was talking about the benefit of spreading, of widening, of kind of forming lines, and the importance of that. And I can't remember who exactly it was, but I just remember that there was a few people, or maybe a small group, who would say things like, "Oh yeah, there's no need to do that," right? Or, "Oh yeah, that's pointless. It's not going to really do anything for you." And the funny part to me is that, you know, again, right, people are going to have, everyone's going to a degree, have their own opinions, and some of those can vary. Some of those will line up or not. And now, as time has gone on, you're consistently seeing this from top alliances, right? And even when we did the TFS comms listen-in, right, which is the #1 alliance right now in the game, over 16 billion power, right, there was multiple times in those listen-ins where we heard them saying, hey, spread out, don't bunch up, right, form your lines, and we saw them, you know, very tedious, very studious with that, that they would consistently be doing, and other top alliances do this as well. And it's just one of those things where, and again, this isn't me saying, you know, oh, ha ha ha, I said it first or anything like that, but it's nice to see how the actions in game can kind of speak for themselves, right? Where, you know, you could have people that have different views on kind of how strategy and tactics plays out, and you put yourself, you know, you put your thoughts out there and you put your opinions out there as I and others have, and then you see what the top alliances end up doing, right? Where is the kind of PvP meta and where's the trends going in? And so for me, it's just nice to see that it ended up playing out the way that I hoped it would, because at least logically it made sense to me. And so it's nice to see that it hopefully made sense to other people as well, or they came to a similar conclusion or a same conclusion. And I just think it allows for the PvP to just showcase itself in a higher quality way when we're watching it, right? But again, I can imagine that trying to break that mold, like this is pretty bunched up, right? Like I imagine it's going to also, for a number of players and alliances, take some time, especially for those that are coming over from other games, whether that's Rock, which is probably a really good example on how there's just a lot of like murder balling, a lot of hurting, right? You're very condensed in your fighting. It's almost like a mosh pit. And then you come over to CoD, and it almost requires you to do the opposite, right, of what you're doing there. And I'm sure potentially for some other Kingdom builders as well. Alrighty, listen, we are almost at 35 minutes right now, and I think I'm probably going to call it here. This has been great, man. It's so fun to come and watch SB1-24 with the alliances, with the back and forth. Again, hopefully we'll be able to catch up a little bit more as the Zone 3 PvP continues and goes on. But this has been a blast so far, so thank you guys so much. I think someone pinged me about this, and I feel so bad I can't remember the name right now because I probably should have said it in the beginning where it was a little more fresh in my mind. But again, right, my biggest thing is I love being able to showcase as much PvP as possible. One, of course, I have the time from as many different KvKs as possible because, again, it's not all about kind of showing the hottest ticket, right? At least for me, I like to be able to show as many tickets as possible and kind of spread some of that love and flower. So, again, man, thanks for the awesome fighting here from EE, from OP, RY, Meat, and hopefully I'm not missing anyone else's name, but if I am, you know who you are. And yeah, that's it for me. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. As always, until next time, I'll catch y'all later.